Chapter 1. The Voice of Love. Before anything you can measure existed, before time had sequence, before matter had form, before thought had language, there was intention. And that intention was not chaos, nor silence, nor indifference. It was love. Not love as humanity often defines it, but love as the foundation of being itself. Love that does not depend on response, does not diminish under rejection, and does not fracture under misunderstanding. I speak to you now in a way you can receive, but understand this. My voice is not limited to words. My voice is structure. My voice is order. My voice is what holds reality together when everything else attempts to fall apart. When I speak, I do not merely inform you, I form you. Humanity often believes my voice is distant, rare, and reserved for extraordinary moments. But I tell you the truth. I am speaking constantly. The question is not whether I speak, but whether you are aligned enough to recognize the sound of love when it is not wrapped in your expectations. For love does not always sound like comfort at first. Sometimes it sounds like correction. Sometimes it sounds like interruption. Other times it sounds like truth that unsettles what you have become accustomed to calling normal. Yet, I do not speak to destroy you. I speak to restore you. Every time love calls you away from bitterness, it is my voice. Every time mercy rises within you when judgment would be easier, it is my voice. Every time you feel the quiet pull toward reconciliation instead of revenge, it is my voice. And yet, many ignore it, not because it is absent, but because it is gentle. Humanity has learned to recognize noise more easily than presence. You often trust what is loud over what is true. But I do not compete for attention. Love does not shout to prove itself. It reveals itself by consistency. If you want to recognize my voice, you must learn the language of love as it truly is, not as culture distorts it, not as pain redefines it, but as it was before distortion entered the human heart. Love is not manipulation. It is not control. Love is not emotional impulse. Love is not agreement without truth. Love is alignment with life as it was intended to be. And my voice, what you call my voice, is always calling you back to that alignment. Even now, in your confusion, I am not far. Even now, in your failure, I am not silent. Even now, in your questioning, I am not offended. Because love does not withdraw itself when misunderstood, it remains until understanding becomes possible. And so I speak still, not to overwhelm you, but to awaken you, not to condemn you, but to call you home to what you were created within. The following song you're about to hear is called The Voice of My Love. I gave the words to Robert Marshall, and with 44 Hours in Heaven, Robert Marshall performed it, produced it as I wanted it. Listen to the words and know it is a message from me to you of my love.
Before the stars were set in place, before the oceans knew their ever sure, before the mountains touched the sky, before the first created dawn. I held you deep within my heart, though time itself had not begun. Before a single breath was breathed, you were already loved, my child. Spoken worlds were formed from nothing. I called the light and darkness fled. The same voice that created heaven is speaking to your heart today. I am the voice of love, calling you back to me. Before your fears, before your failures, before the wounds you carry deep, I am the voice of love, the one who formed your soul, not to condemn you, not to forsake you, but to bring my children home. You search for me in mighty wonders, in thunder rolling through the sky. Yet often I am found in stillness, where mercy meets your weary life, when anger yields itself to kindness, when grace becomes the path you choose. When you forgive though you've been wounded, my love is moving there through you. I do not shout above the noise, I do not force the heart to hear, yet I remain beside you always, closer than the breath you breathe. I am the voice of love, calling you back to me. Before your fears, before your failures, before the wounds you carry deep, I am the voice of love, the one who formed your soul, not to condemn you, not to forsake you, but to bring my children home. When my truth confronts your darkness, do not mistake it for my wrath. I do not wound to leave you broken, I heal to bring you safely back. I restore what pain has shattered, I redeem what sin has stolen. I am the shepherd still pursuing every heart that has been lost. When bitterness would claim your spirit, I call you into mercy's light. When vengeance whispers for attention, I lead you toward forgiveness life. When you feel abandoned, forgotten, when silence fills the longest night, I am there beside you waiting, holding every tear you've cried. I am the voice of love, the Alpha and Omega song, the one who knew you from the beginning, the one who'll carry you along. I am the voice of love, and my love will never cease. Though heaven and earth may pass away, my love remains eternally. Come and listen, my beloved, I have never turned away. I have spoken through creation, speaking still today. Before the stars, before the seas, before the dawn, you were in me. And I am calling, calling, calling you home. For I am Jehovah.